listening to the Consecration podcast, pushing back against the insanity of this world with arguments that may or may not work. And here's your hosts, Josh the Gun Nerd and Ian the Beer Nut.
Welcome to the Consecration and the show where we forget words and
oh no, we got great recall.
We have fantastic recall.
Track record to prove it.
We can wax eloquent about a beer, but I can't remember a name to save our life.
Or maybe a place, or,
place or how to pronounce.
What was that thing? Yeah, what did we say our new segment should be like? What's that thing again? Or what's the name of that place? Yeah, that would be interesting just to have a list of it has like 2 or 3 clues.
Yeah.
And you have to guess what the word is.
Yep. Or just a cheat sheet. Like we should just go back through our podcast and write down all the words that we continuously don't remember how to say, or the word you forget when you're thinking about this.
A well-known brewery in downtown Snohomish.
Yes.
Go.
Hey, we could come up with our own game.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and we haven't talked about this other than just in passing, but would be interesting to do like a live podcast at one of the markets coming up or something like that.
Yeah. There's one in mid-November.
Yeah. So. Yeah. We could hear live feedback from people.
Yeah, people throwing things at us. It's pronounced foder, you moron.
Yeah. And it's not Smart Tarts.
Yeah.
Wait, was that the right one or the wrong one?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Smarties, is that what it is?
Yeah, Smarties.
Smarties.
Yeah.
Are they Smart Tarts?
Is that the same thing or is that a different candy?
I don't know.
Aaron, what is
tell us. This is actually a thing in our household. So maybe this is the way it is for those chalky candies. But all right, I'll describe it to you and see if you can come up with the name of it. There is a chain of ice cream.
Dairy Queen.
But you walk in and they have all the tubs of ice cream and they have a variety of flavors.
Baskin Robbins.
Is that what you call it?
Baskin Robbins. Yes.
Is that what normal people call it?
I don't know.
I mean, I think that's what normal people call it.
31 flavors.
But I'm throwing. Yeah. What? Nobody calls it that. That's how many flavors it has. Except there's somebody very close to me that shares my last name, shares a bed with me, that calls it 31 flavors.
Well, there's a long list of people that you're describing.
Wait,
no. It's almost like you narrowed it down without saying her name.
That's right.
But yeah, wasn't it in the movie Ferris Bueller wasn't. Like
is it called that?
Well, as one of the kids, like in the movie, they're like describing, and Tommy's friend said that they saw their friend and they heard from them that they saw him at 31 Flavors last night. Like I thought that was
that's hilarious.
I don't know why that's coming to mind right now.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that in 20 something years.
I think it's Ferris Bueller. I don't know.
That's funny. Now I'm gonna have to go watch it.
But yeah, I've heard it both ways. But I think normally
I have, but I've tried to scrape it out of my ears.
No, I had when I was still in the car industry, the finance guy wanted me to. He's like, it was a slow night, nothing happening. He's like, hey, I buy, you fly, whatever. If you want to go down to Baskin Robbins, and it's like I don't really have a desire for ice cream, but I'm like, I don't know. It's been about 20 years since I've had Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
And I used to like their sherbet. And of course, they didn't have orange sherbet, which is the only thing that I wanted.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculously expentive.
Really? I haven't been in there in a long time.
It was like 2 little ice creams and like $20.
Holy smokes.
It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the soft serve at McDonald's is that bad.
Well, you would not know because
the machine's not working.
The machines never work. Ever.
Did you see that you might have sent it to me? No. I don't know why I saw this thing. It's one of those dumb videos that why am I watching this right now?
Yeah.
But it's like some feud between, not feud, but like a sign war between two,
nice.
like between like Burger King and McDonald's.
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, and it was like hey, Burger King, you want to do a sign war? And they're like, we don't settle for that type of, so they do respond. And then something comes up about their ice cream machine not ever working.
Not ever working.
Like, hey, at least our ice cream machines actually work, or something like that.
No, there was a time, I think it was like 6 months, where Ethan and I, like, hey, want to go get ice cream when we're leaving work, after school or whatever, and we'd stop by the closest Mickey D's to get their fake ice cream, and it doesn't work. And then like a week later, like,
it's a dessert product.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the week later we stopped by again, still not working. Nice. That was about 4 inches from, from hitting the mercury switch on the
that would have been exciting.
Fantastic. But it did go behind my back. So
oh man,
that was funny. That's some good audio.
Yeah.
I mean, I was literally like 4 inches from it.
I thought I was pointed kind of this way, but apparently I brought it back.
Nice.
Sorry, what were you in the middle of?
Yeah, so just,
a dessert product.
Yeah, we were trying to get our our iced dessert product, non-dairy. And it ended up being this thing, like we'd go there just to see if it wasn't working. It was like, because it was like, we're not going to get anything else, so let's just show up and find out. And then it was like, hey, there's the one close to school, and then there's the one close to home. Let's try both of them. And over that 6-month time frame, never was there one actually working. So that's funny. It was pretty funny. It was more like, hey, let's just go check. Like it might have been the thing where it might not have even. Oh, it's working. Well, never mind.
Yeah,
we've kind of formed a habit now where we just stop by and check and see if it's working. It doesn't have to actually work.
Yeah, so this beer that I just poured, it's called Consecration from Russian River. Russian River is famous for their big hoppy IPAs, Pliny the Elder, Pliny the Younger, and I think they got they got all kinds of hoppy beers, but they also have kind of some fun, cellar programs. We've done their cherry cider or cherry sour before.
Yeah.
This is ale aged in Cab Sauvignon barrels with black currants. It's got a brownish gold hue.
Yeah, it's kind of a ditchwater look, but
barrel aged 3 to 12 months, somewhere in between there.
Interesting.
And it's got
it smells good.
I think that's a list of all the yeasts around it.
Yeah, there's. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know there's 2 in a row where it's like, it feels like I licked like a slightly sweetened celery stick.
A sweetened celery stick?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it said, when brewing Consecration, we add 2 varieties of dark malt.
Wow.
Josh is having a bodily reaction. Yeah. Giving it a deep mahogany color and malty flavor. Are you picking up malty flavor? I mean, maybe on the back end.
No, yeah.
The front end is very, all you can do, you're just punched in the face with sour aged in Cab Sauv barrels with black currants. Bretta, I think they usually just abbreviate it with Brett, but Bretta Nomaces and good bacteria. This beer, so it's in the barrel with black currants, Brettanomyces, good bacteria. This beer is full-bodied and filled with rich notes of fruit, spice, tobacco, chocolate, sourness with a hint of subtle oakiness. No, they don't say oakiness, but oak. Consecration is re-fermented in this bottle to recreate its fine carbonation. Spent yeast cells form a thin layer of sediment on the bottom of this bottle. Pour slowly, allowing the natural yeast sediment to remain in the bottle, which I did try to do.
Yeah.
I did leave something in the bottom there. So that I guess that means that it's bottle fermented then. Is that what they're indicating?
Yeah. There's something about bottle fermentation where it feels a little more earthy.
Yeah.
I was just looking up Brettanomyces. Non-kombucha yeast can be isolated from different sources, such as fruit peels, kombucha, kefir. Is that how it's pronounced?
Kefir.
We
Yeah.
will never know. It's not knowable. Olives, sodas, and wooden barrels. Yeah, this, like...
if you were doing like some sort of improv dance or something.
Yeah. Well,
just sporadic bodily movements.
It's a weird thing that I'm sure I do this with a lot of beers, but it's been really noticeable the last time, and then this one is like you usually get like a small little, let's try this, and then you're like, is it that way really? And so you try more, and then that's when you have like facial seizures.
Right, and then it, like for me, I end up with a shoulder twitch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I picked this up because aged in Cab Sauv barrels with black currants. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Not really having any idea what to expect.
Well, and even though this wouldn't be one that I would like, keep in stock.
Yeah. Ever buy again.
Ever buy again. It is. I mean, if I was, gonna do like a flight of similar type beers, it would be one that would be good. I mean, we talk about having, certain things on hand. Like I've got a dill aquavit that's like, hey, you want to try something weird?
Yeah, yeah.
Or whatever that poet drink is that I can never remember the name of.
Poet drink.
Yeah. It's made with it's traditionally made with wood.
Worcestershire sauce.
Wormwood.
Oh.
Green. It's called the Green Fairy. Not thinking of the name of it, but we'll just call it the Green Fairy. I have some of that, and I've probably had that bottle for 12, 13 years, and I really enjoy it, but just not a lot.
Yeah.
So that I'd put that in that category. Other than like, you'd actually have to drink it instead of just pour out a little bit.
Right. Yeah. If you pour a little bit of this and then sit on it for 13 years,
oh man, it might talk to you.
It might grow a head or something. This was bottled in September of 24, so about a year ago. So I don't know if that affects the flavor as well. How long it's been?
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't think terribly if it's been refrigerated.
Yeah. Oh no, I kept it in the sun.
Yeah, I just leave it on the
front porch
on the dash.
Yeah, rolls around. Yeah. It says it's 10%, which is high for a like a sour type, but I guess it is barrel aged, so you're gonna naturally have oxidation and a concentration of the sugars and the alcohol.
I just read this. In breweries and especially wineries, Brettanomyces are typically recognized as a spoilage yeast, being the cause of major economic losses. That's kind of funny. Like, hey, we're not going to sell this beer, but we're going to make it.
Right.
I would try another beer with Brettanomyces.
Mm-hmm. Well, so it says around this label that says barrel aged 3 to 12 months, it says Brettanomyces, Saccharomyces, Pediococcus.
Oh man! What in the world?
I mean, it's.
Who names these things? Can we just name it anything but that?
Right. And then lactobacillus.
It's like that's
because it's pedio and then it's COCCUS.
Yeah.
I don't know how else you pronounce that.
I think you're doing a good job, stand-up job of that. So, yeah, it so talks about it is used to produce signature funky and fruity aromas. Definitely got that down. The funk mostly comes from volatile phenol compounds like 4-ethyl glycol, which is like wood smoke and bacon, which I don't know, but
you got to get really creative in your brain to find that in there.
This is one I am picking up though. It's got 4-ethyl phenol, which is, get this, Band-Aid and Barnyard. I love this man. Do you get that Band-Aid kind of a?
Sadly, yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately when you said Band-Aid, I was like, oh yeah, weird.
Yeah, it's like first sip sweet, and then right there on the middle. Yeah. You get that kind of a Band-Aid thing, and it's I like Band-Aid smell or taste. I don't know how many Band-Aids I've tasted, but that smell is that taste right there. And see, this is what I love about sampling this kind of stuff is you can actually dial it down to a certain compound that produces those things. Like I use the word mouthfeel a lot, and that's like an overused thing, but that is an actual thing, and figuring out how to make these compounds that will hang out on your tongue longer, that'll give you a range of flavors is fascinating to me. And knowing that this particular thing, if you can produce it, is gonna give it kind of that oily feel, or which can be good or really bad. You'll notice it with scotches. Peaty scotches will be oily and salty. And so knowing how to produce those things that kind of hold those compounds on your tongue longer, that's just cool stuff. I love it.
Yeah, apparently Pediococcus is a genus of gram-positive lactic acid bacteria placed within the family of Lactobacilliaceae. Bacilliaceae. Anyway.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It's a lactic acid bacteria.
Yeah, so something you usually find in like yogurt, or like it says kefir. I think that's how you say that. I've heard it said a bunch of times, but how we are with words.
Apparently, there's lots of caucuses.
Yes, there is. Streptococcus is not one that you don't want.
Aerococcus, Tetragenococcus. So many caucuses. They are purely homofermentative, says Wikipedia.
Okay.
All right. We're getting into the land of the unknown.
Yeah. Or the land of the people scraping their eardrums out.
Yeah. I'm sure RJ could give us a lesson on what those are.
Yeah. I'm going to finish this.
Yes, I know. I feel the need to finish it.
Yeah, it's not the kind of bad that you'd dump off the porch, even if we had one. But
especially that last sip is just. As Josh closes his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And we got two other. Like one says pastry stout, the other says peanut butter porter, and like that's sounding really good right now.
Yeah,
like,
I really want to. I want to rinse this out, and it's not because it's bad.
No, it's just there's a place for celery.
Yeah,
like
yeah, it's celery and Band-Aids, and like a spritz of sugar water
and a little healthy bacteria.
Yeah, I definitely feel healthy after drinking that.
Yeah,
I probably have something growing well in my stomach now.
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, it's probably like.
Not lying. I think that's
drinking one of those, like healthy green shakes or something.
Yeah. I'll stick with drinking healthy ditchwater beer.
Right. I'm sure they appreciate us calling it that.
Yeah. Hey, people should try it. I mean, I think that if you like kombuchas, that's probably.
It's also a very 90s looking label, which is probably from the 90s.
It probably is.
It's called Consecration, and it's in a, very Times New Romanish font with a kind of a weirdly drawn dagger thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, rarely do we do like beers back to back, but there's a need to get whatever. I mean, it's like after drinking the healthy shake, then it's like, okay, we need, you need something to cleanse the palate.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I think this might be a good go between.
Yeah. But we've been talking about, just how a lot of things are coming to a head in terms of our society, in terms of like doing this experiment where we slowly, pretty quickly surrendered a lot of things to people. Like, okay, we're not going to punish these certain types of crimes, even though it's in our penal code, but we're not going to apply it. Like homeless people and, what Josh and I were just talking about with, there's an article that says that there's been a rise of either complaints or just awareness of people operating food trucks or food stands without licenses. And
before we go too far into it, like, the listening ear, like, think about what your thoughts are right now about, starting a business, getting the permits, that whole process, and think about the necessities that are involved before starting a business, and ponder that for a moment. Hit pause, and then come back to the conversation, because I want people to think differently about it than they probably typically do.
Yeah, because you have the two sides. You have the, from a principled perspective, do I think that the government should be regulating any of the industries, but specifically the restaurant industry and food industry like they do? And then separately, if they are going to have these laws that require certain regulations, should they be applying those equally across the board, or should they let some people, because maybe they don't have the right documentation even for being a citizen or being in this country, let them get off the hook? And but if you're a legal citizen trying to do things uprightly, you're going to get the full gauntlet of paperwork and fines and nitpicking.
Yeah, and this is where it, like, in a right world, being a moral citizen over a law-abiding citizen is better.
And there is crossover between those two.
There is 100%, because you can have somebody that is going through all the permitting process and doing everything legally, and then not caring about what they're producing and what they're selling. And then there could be somebody that is like, you know what, the laws don't apply to me. I want to provide a good product, and so I will do things the right way without doing it the legal way. And I would say that that's usually not the case on either side. Because people will, loopholes are just exploiting the things that the laws don't actually restrict. So it's not that it's like most people look at a loophole as a negative thing, whereas that
like the corporations that are the papers tried to, or the news organizations try to typify it as avoiding or tax evasion. It's like when it's actually strategy and using what is available.
Yeah. Or just understanding, like, the pay to play process that most permitting is. If you want to go down the freeway at 60 miles an hour, you can do that. Is 60 or 50 or 70, certain people will say, well, yeah, at 50 you can stop this much faster or whatever. But, like, hey, let's say you've got a car that can, is made to do 80 miles an hour. and you got a Jeep that's good at doing 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So then that 60 mile an hour speed is not a good limit for the Murcielago, and it's too high for that flat fender Jeep from the 1940s. And so, if somebody wants to go down the road at 70 miles an hour at 10 o'clock at night when there's very little traffic, it's a pay-to-play process. They can do that, and they're actually not unsafe, And then the guy that is abiding by the law and pushing his old vehicle to the higher speed is actually more of a danger approaching the speed limit than the guy going beyond it. And so then you just decide, okay, what do I want to pay for? And I've never tried to talk my way out of a ticket. I've been successful at not getting many of them, but so like with food permits, getting a business started, we've looked at trying to get a food truck started. What would that take? And it's months of of inspections and permitting and thousands of dollars, and it can be in some cases $6,000 to $8,000 and 6 months worth of that process where you're not making any money.
Yeah. And
then you've also spent, depending on what you're planning on putting out, a few $1,000s to $10,000, $20,000, $80,000 for your truck and trailer and all the equipment that go inside of it. And so you've got 6 months where you're going in the hole, and the incentive then is to be like, well, how about we just see if we can get this thing rolling ahead of time, because any business proposition is a risk. And so do you want to risk dumping all the money into the permits and seeing if it can work and all the equipment, or do you want to go, hey, maybe I just do it, and if I get shut down, then I get shut down. And you can do that whole process as a moral person and provide a quality product, that's not going to have E. coli in it and those kinds of things.
Right.
And then the person that is going by all the permitting, they can totally say, yeah, this is all local products and we get it all from here and there, and they could be lying through their teeth.
Right.
And so I understand the people that are doing it the legal way, the frustration that comes from seeing the people that are doing it the expedient way. But in the article that we were looking at, the legal guy is frustrated, that he's put all the money into it, and so instead of saying why am I putting all my money into the permits, that should be streamlined. He's more angry at the person that's like, I'm going to skip all that. Mm-hmm. And so having a mindset that says, hey, this permitting process is insane. Like maybe you do a thing where you push back on the permitting process and say, hey, look, hey, if I want people to pay attention, here's one way to look at it. You can come and you can get a government rating, for my business. California does that with the restaurants.
Yeah.
And so here's a permitted business, and it gets an A, B, C rating, or however they do it down there. And then, hey, here's a unpermitted process, and so people can decide at that point. Hey, here's a lesser threshold for permitting or a higher threshold for permitting.
And they have to say, hey, we're unpermitted or whatever.
Yeah.
Proceed at your own risk.
Yeah, exactly. And then, hey, you can go to Google for reviews.
Right.
And
hey, but what you do is you cut in on the government's income.
You see, and that's the thing is, I would prefer that because because
then theoretically you need less people going, like in terms of income and staffing and overhead, like
Yeah.
then you have less people that you're paying to go regulate all this stuff.
Yep.
If there are more unpermitted
Totally.
places.
Yeah, I would 100% say. I mean, it's the same way with I was listening to Lucky Palmer. Have you heard of him?
I feel like I have.
And I know what the word is, and I've heard it pronounced, but it's a hard one to pronounce. Andrel, I think, it is a civilian company that provides basically war machines of all different kinds for the government. The process is basically we see what is needed in the war space and we provide it, and then the government sees it and goes, yes, we need that because we pay attention to what it is. And so they've taken things like they just introduced just in the last couple of weeks it's a rabbit trail, but they
like a heads-up display helmet.
Yeah, heads-up display helmet, exactly. And so it gives night vision capabilities, thermal capabilities, see-through wall capabilities. So it's basically going to show you what a drone sees on the other side of a building. It's going to show you that there's a bad guy over there. It provides directional sound, all this kind of stuff. And so they basically see what the government needs, and then they just build it. And they took over this project from Microsoft, and I think it was like a $23 billion project, and then they're looking at it, and it's in the hundreds of millions, or something like that. So it's significantly cheaper than the government-funded one. But he was talking about the rabbit trail that I went on took me too far. It was I think it was about the permitting process. It was cars. That's what it was. He was on Joe Rogan talking about it, and you can get in China or North Korea, I think it's China, a car that's like, it's a basic bare bones car, and it's like $3,500. Well, here you have to have airbags and a third brake light and ABS brakes and a monitor that tells you if there's a car next to you, and lane, whatever they call it, lane stuff. I've got old cars, I don't know.
Blind spot detection.
Yeah, blind spot detection. But that's not required there. And so we can't get that here. Like if you want a car if you want certain like Toyotas or whatever, you have to wait till they're 25 years old till you can import them here, right? Because they don't have all that stuff. Well, how about you're just more responsible for yourself? Like whether it's buying from a taco truck and going, you know what, I'm going to risk it and get the guy that's making street tacos and just really likes people and it's a great way for him to make money. Or hey, I'm going to risk it and I'm going to check my mirrors. you know, how about we just have less of that permitting process and less expectation that the government's going to be there to take the ruler to the knuckles of anybody. I mean, and just be like, hey, this is what I want.
Yeah, I mean, with anything, there's risk. Yeah. So even with the regulation, there's risk. There's people that skirt the rules.
Yep.
There's also bad players on the government inspection side that whether it's under the table payment or just
acceptance
looking the other way.
Of risk, having your own. I think I've been hearing the popular word agency. Just expecting that you're in the end you are responsible for yourself and being less willing to be litigious over something.
But I still have yet to see anything comparable to the type of street food I see coming out of videos I see coming out of India.
Yeah.
The
guy in the soup.
Yeah, the guy standing in soup,
that's where I'm like, you know what? I don't care if he's permitted or not. This is not something that I'm buying,
because all his junk and everything is sitting right in that pot of soup, along with his toes and your food.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know what you're getting right there,
right?
And I don't care whether
and people are in line to get it.
Yeah, and if that's permitted or not, I don't care. I'm not standing in line.
The government tells you it's healthy.
Yeah, that's right.
So
what? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, and this is part of a bigger conversation. Like, what should the government? what is the government's job
Yeah.
as designed by God, and is part of that, the whole. I mean, you could say maybe protection of citizens is, the whole sanitation and dealing with waste and dealing with things like that, or is that just? I mean, once you start going down that road, can't you just throw on anything under the protection guys?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything will go back to guns. And, and all the cities with the most regulations on firearms are the most dangerous ones to go to.
Like Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. And even, there was, I think it was on Photog Steve's Instagram page, somebody said something like, "Did you hear about the shooting in Skyway?" And then somebody else was like, "Which one?" And I was like, "Yeah, which one?" Skyway is like, it's
I don't
not
even know where's Skyway.
Skyway is kind of across I-5 from like White Center.
Oh, okay.
It's the MLK area. So as everybody knows, any area that has a street name MLK is the bad area of town, and that's kind of Skyway's a little bit south of that. So probably not as many shootings as White Center, but they're competing.
Yeah, right. So. Yeah. So I mean, the whole idea of protecting your people from something that they don't need to be protected from, obviously, is a bastardization of what it's intended to be. And I think if you don't have the right undergirding principles, then you're going to you're going to end up with messed up laws, regulations, and then even the meeting out of those punishments and things. You're going to get it twisted. But yeah, this.
It's not twisted.
No, not twisted. I was going to wait for your lead in. Dark chocolate peanut butter porter, imperial porter with peanut butter and natural flavors. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah,
I was actually pleasantly surprised. I had no clue what to expect.
Yeah,
out of a Hardywood can.
Yeah,
contains peanut and lactose, but got lots of peanut butter notes off the front.
Yeah, it smells kind of like a good Reese's.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get something that's like I like the Reese's brand, but if you get like a homemade Reese's Pieces or I mean Reese's cup or whatever, or like a really good quality one,
like with dark chocolate.
Yeah, that's what you get on the nose on this.
Yep.
I mean it's you smell it and you're kind of excited and wanting to drink it, especially after the Russian River water one.
Yeah, I mean, the brand is called Hardywood. It would.
Yeah.
Never mind. Established 2011, Richmond, Virginia. So, brewed and canned by. So I don't know if it's exclusively sold through Trader Joe's or if it's it does, because it doesn't say. It only says Hardywood on here. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to look into it more. This one was purchased at Trader Joe's and 9.2 ABV. This is one I would actually I'd have this a time or two.
Yeah, it's pleasant drinking. I mean, nothing compared to Consecration.
Yeah, nothing. No, how I'm looking forward to actually comparing it with the Pastry Stout chocolate mousse one, just because I have a feeling that one, and we all know that what's on the outside of the can doesn't always represent what's on the inside of the can, but this might be the middle ground between the two, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
Yeah. But there was, so on that topic of lawlessness and what are we doing with enforcing of laws and who is the right authority, what has God designated the government to do? I often go back to, in terms of principles, because like in class, we're going through Plymouth Plantation, which is William Bradford's journal, recording from basically the early 1600s from their departure from England over to Netherlands, then eventually over to North America, and then their establishment of the Plymouth Plantation and the Plymouth Settlement. I know plantation is a weird word for us in this modern era.
I've got no problems with it.
Yeah. But it actually did, at that point, it just simply meant you cultivate the land that you live on.
Yeah.
So, like, it didn't imply... Now, you just think of, okay, white owner, black
Whipping
slaves.
people.
And whipping people, yeah. But they were literally cultivating the land that they were living on to survive.
I feel like there's a Chevy Chase movie from the 80s.
There are several.
Yeah, but on a plantation.
Oh,
I can't. Yeah, man, there was two of them. Fletch. I think Fletch is Fletch 2. One of them.
Okay.
I could be thinking of a different one, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there were, just talking about like that is the wild frontier in terms of, okay, who has authority? They originally thought they were going to be under the Virginia company's charter, but that didn't work out because they actually caught adrift and they went off course and they ended up in Cape Cod. So they're outside of that jurisdiction. Anyway, they end up coming up with the Mayflower Compact, so they have something establishing law and order at the very beginning. But then there's various iterations of, okay, what do we do now? There were times when somebody would steal, and then it's like, okay, what's the punishment? What are we going to do? So it's very Wild West type stuff. But then there was this, it's kind of just a side note in his journal, but he says, there was people from New England, the New England Charter that were trying to enforce the requirement of a fishing license. And they appealed to Parliament and said, hey, what do you think about this? We don't agree with this. Do we need a fishing license? And surprisingly, the government said, no, you don't need it. You don't need to pay for a fishing license.
The one time.
Yes. The only time I know of that the government has turned down money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you think of it, parliaments across...
Like, no, we'll just tax the paper that it's printed.
Yeah. Yeah. 100 years later. But they... obviously, they had no way to really enforce that other than... I mean, if the guys from New England had some way to do that, but they... it's across the Atlantic. Okay, sure. Have your fish.
And
whatever.
it was very tiny colonies at that point. Not
very
even
tiny.
Medium-sized colonies.
Right.
Just very tiny.
And so I just, proposed to the class, hey, so what do you think about fishing licenses like today? Like, is that what the government should be doing? There's a lot of things that the government can do, but is that something that they should do? And immediately people said, well, if we didn't, the people would, fish all the fish, there'd be no fish left. It's like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Like I said, how many of the people that are currently submitting to the laws of, just willingly without needing, anybody slapping their hand or watching their shoulder over their shoulder, are abiding by the current laws? Don't you think those same people would be very conscious of their, how much they're fishing and stuff like that? And the same people that are currently, flipping off the government, say you can't control how much I fish, would be doing the same, evil intentions without the government. I don't know.
Yeah, it is one that I actually have some real, like, internal conflict.
I mean,
over.
it's kind of the public land conversation that we had a couple months ago. Like, it's that similar type of like, should the government be? Is it safer in the government's hands? Or
it's because it's back and forth. I mean, either way, you're dealing with fallen man, and so I think there could definitely be some changes. I actually think, and this is really hard for me to admit, but I think that right now, I could probably be convinced that the government is doing a better job managing wildlife than traditionally in the United States. We have seen...
Like you're saying now in history, they're doing better currently than they have in the past?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because before it was unregulated, and so this is the struggle. I'll see if I can condense it down really quick. I'm not a huge hunter.
You don't have a good history of that.
I don't have a good history.
But it starts now, Josh.
Yeah, let's see if we can just not make it a rambling kind of a thing. So historically, in the States United, we have done a pretty good job of almost wiping out buffalo, grizzly bears. I have heard raccoons due to Davy Crockett. I don't know if that's a myth or reality. A variety of things. A lot of people believe that like the Indians were really good at making sure they. I heard something different than what that was. That was a cork.
Yeah. Gently landing on the desk, not no nefarious things.
But like Indians have not been ones in the past or currently have not been ones that have been really great at being good husbands or practicing good animal husbandry.
Right. Yeah.
There's been really strong evidence that they would run a bunch of buffalo into a canyon, kill them all, cut out their tongues, leave everything else because, the tongues are really good. Mm-hmm. And then there's been the market hunters. I'm going to say somebody that's better versed on this than me will correct me, but I want to say from like mid 1800s to late 1800s. I don't think earlier than that. Market hunters did a pretty good job at decimating beaver and bison populations or buffalo, however you want to call them. So when it's been unregulated, there's been some real,
the Wild West, literally. Yeah.
And then the government has screwed things up. And I can't honestly remember if I've talked about this in the podcast or I've talked about it in the classroom, but the government bringing in, if I remember right, a type of carp into somewhere in Minnesota to help regulate some other kind of fish. And then when that type of fish went wild, they actually had to electrify the waterways in between the different lakes to kill off that fish. And so then we'll find out in another 50 to 100 years what that electrifying of that lake has done to, decimate other populations or otherwise hinder the other populations. So there's not been a great track record from the unregulated side or the government side, but although I don't agree with everything that's being done, I don't always agree with the permitting process. I think right now is where we're seeing our best in the short life of our country. What is interesting is the hunting community right now, if we could remember what we have learned from our past and make that a theme for our future, is the best regulators and best people at managing wildlife are those that want to hunt it for a long time. Mm-hmm. So hunters traditionally, if it's a family hunter, not a market hunter, here's me stretching the rabbit trail out, but I think it's important. A market hunter is somebody that is like looking for, I think hides. Mm-hmm. So they basically kill off 1,000 buffalo or 300 buffalo or whatever to get the hides and sell
what
that.
The market's demanding.
Yeah.
Like,
so they're not
in the early Northwest, we were just going over how the otter pelts were crazy. Like there was a market for them in China, and so they took them over there. And their first shipment, they're like, it was they got a year's wages for for an otter pelt. They're like, let's go get more.
It's insane.
So market driven hunting.
Yeah, instead of providing, so that's a big one. You can do. It's really difficult, but Texas proves it's possible that you could have like fenced lands and do deer or reindeer or freaking African tigers and lions, that kind of stuff. There's more African lions in Texas than there is in Africa. Facts by Joe Rogan. But right now, the people that are best at protecting the animals are the people that want their grandkids to hunt them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if we base things on those principles, then it doesn't have to be government that does it.
Yeah,
if government says, "Hey, look, the land is the people's, and so we need to have private funds or private industries to take care of these things," I think that would be a better principle to go by. Pause for effect.
Yeah, I guess in principle, if you have a, so because you can go back to the cultural mandate in Genesis 1, and man was commanded to, subdue the earth, cultivate it, and take dominion. So, like, if that is our charge as mankind, then you have the different spheres. You have family, you have church, and you have government. And whose responsibility is what? And I think when in terms of government sphere, I go back to like 1 Peter 2, where it says, "Be subject to the Lord for the Lord's sake to every human institution, whether it be to emperor as supreme or governors, as sent by him to punish those who do evil and to praise those who do good. For this is the will of God, that by doing good you should put to silence the ignorance of foolish people." So I think to summarize it very succinctly, I would say their role is to punish the evil and praise those who do good, reward good, discourage evil, and even punish evil. And of course, that is taking one passage. You could also go to Romans 13, and there's other principles there. But I think as far as regulating wildlife and wildlife management, principally, I don't see it. But practically, I do see the conundrum. But also, what's to say if you have enough, like, what if you form a wildlife coalition and it's made up of citizens, it's regulated by citizens, it's enforced by citizens, and there maybe there's some provision that allows them to sue another individual or something, some sort of civil measure where they could say, "I was here, there were other witnesses, he caught, he had a boatload of fish." Yeah, and we as a people have decided that is over the regulated amount or whatever. Yeah. Somehow I think there is a way to, because if you allow, I think if you let that in, then there's all these other realms that government starts to seep in, and we're seeing that effect. That they're just like, "Oh no, we have authority here. We have authority here. We can tell you, as a church, what not necessarily what you're allowed to believe. Like we don't see that yet." But we do see, if you're allowed to operate in your building, you have to have all these things. And sure, it's under the guise of safety and maybe it's a good idea. Yeah. But do you have the authority to regulate that? Maybe, but.
Or to punish it. Like if we build a porch on our roof and we don't put railings on it, do we need to get punished for not putting railings on it, or do we
need to get punished if someone dies?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's where we need to land on. So where we, have the guys that, provide enough fish for their family, or the guys that have so many fish that they end up
that
wasting.
They're
a bunch
selling
of them.
directly to China.
Yeah, exactly. Then we've got, that's actually a really good one. Regulating the commercial aspect and doing less regulation for the family aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this kind of for. Look at that. I mean, we'll come back to this in just a minute, but that's a fantastic head on that beer.
Thank you.
That looks really nice. So if you're going to brew beer, I don't know what it is right now, for your family, the rule is actually like 10 gallons a year or 100 gallons a year or something like that. Nobody pays attention to it at all anymore, but there is like a limitation to that. And why don't we do the same for hard alcohol? Like, I actually don't have any problem at all that I can think of off the top of my head of the government saying, yeah, like if you're gonna brew it for friends and family or distill it for friends and family, like let's cut you off at 1,000 gallons because there's gonna be no business that's going to be sustainable at that. But like, if you're super motivated, 1,000 gallons of beer or 1,000 gallons of distillate that requires some work, but you could do that.
Industry.
Yeah. You could do that for your family. And so let's say the government says, look, we're not going to regulate you until you get to that point. And then at that point, you're probably, going to be doing some sort of business to be selling it. And so we'll do a small amount of regulation for that. I understand that. Or, hey, if you're gonna, shoot, here's the government guideline, or here's the guideline as this hunting co-op has stated. You can shoot, X amount of, deer or elk a year, and we're not gonna, here, if you want to make this animal sustainable in this area, this is kind of the cutoff point. So you can actually do that right now with cougar. You can look into your game management unit, your GMU, and say, hey, there's 5 cougars allowed in this area. I've been looking at this because of the cougars in my area, and I think it's between 5 and 10 cougars, if I remember right, in my area. And I like that. Like, I like them saying, hey, look, you need to go out in the morning and check and see if these many cougars have been shot in your area.
Yeah.
I love that because that's saying, okay, cool. Like, I don't want to go out and... Because I think there needs to be a certain amount of cougars, and I think there needs to be a certain amount of wolves. Like, that'll be controversial in, the eastern part of our state and in other states. I think there needs to be things like that.
I think reintroducing reintroducing wolves. Like, I don't know if there were 0 wolves in Colorado, or if there were some and they were trying to introduce more. But like, if I owned cattle in Colorado, I'd be pretty pissed if the government's introducing wolves. Yeah. With no measures to, like, okay, if wolves come on my property, I can shoot them. Yep. Like, there needs to be that 100%. Provision.
Yeah, there needs to be a certain amount of property rights that are restored, along with, not taxing it.
Yeah.
There needs to be a certain amount of, like, hey, this is the ceiling on your property. You know, if a drone flies across it and it's under that ceiling, you can take it out. Or if there's deer and other wildlife on your property, you can take that out without a permit. There needs to be some changes like that.
Because, like, bring up Canada, but I follow some.
Is that even a country anymore?
A couple of hunting people up in Canada that they do predator hunting all year long to protect their land. You know, like they're taking out coyotes from 500 yards plus. And
if you have that kind of property, just invite us over. We'll come and take care of that for you.
But they have some really cool shots, some great cameras that capture it, and we'll go back and forth, and watching how the bullet impacts, not in like a morbid sense, but just like, this is what the energy, over that, when it actually hits its target, and
it's a fascinating science.
it is. And, they set bait
Wow.
and stuff.
You're talking about shooting Yodis, and then all of a sudden
it just comes right out of me. But they do that. They do that as a protective measure for their property. Like they have to keep the predator population down. If they don't, nobody else will.
Yeah, I think that there needs to be, like, maybe that's actually like a committee that is voted on, or put together. Like, hey, in this region, we need to have 3 farmers and 2 anti-hunters, and 3 conservationists that are on a committee that decide how we handle these things. But I do have. Ethan has been listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I remember Mr. Lugg telling the story about going to North Carolina when you moved there.
Live there, yeah.
Yeah. And I always get north and south. I don't remember which one's which.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the
North. The Carolinas.
Yeah. Which one was the good side? Which one was the bad side? Civil War stuff. I mean, who cares?
Don't even know that when you're on this side of the country.
Right.
But the story you told of moving over there, and people, to my memory, it was something along the lines of them asking you, like, do you hunt? And you're like, no. Do you shoot guns? No.
Do you fish? Do you hunt? Do you fish?
Yeah. What are you, gay?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Ethan was just dying over that.
That was the next question. Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's quick math.
But even like thinking about that, like to where you're at now, is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, the amount that you'd be able, because there's also just a level of special that comes from people that only are in those categories.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. So,
yeah. And those guys that I had that conversation with didn't have a lot else going on in their life besides fishing and hunting. That was it. That was the extent of their husbandry, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But we just poured in our glass the can that we opened 5 minutes ago. Chocolate mousse, or mousse, or mussy, however you pronounce it.
It's kind of like but when it's the top of a flat mountain, it's called a butte.
Yeah. The subtleties of the English language.
Yeah.
So it's classified as a pastry stout by Untitled Art. So I'm probably not going to get a lot from this can.
No, I'm looking at it, I'm going, this is the kind of can that says a lot of nothing.
It literally has a white square that says Untitled Art. It has it has the name of the beer.
Yeah.
Which is more than some. Oh, here's a little, and then a bunch of swirly art type of Picasso looking stuff.
It looks kind of like a mocha when you got the foam on it, and then you put some like caramel drizzle in it.
Yeah. Pastry stout with Belgian cane syrup, brown sugar, and other natural and artificial flavors. Brewed and canned for Untitled Art. For, not by. Wenatchee, Wisconsin.
Oh. Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, artwork by Stephanie Hammond.
I'm really confused by all the things on there. I will say it smells.
Wow.
Okay.
Really picking up. Yeah, it's more along the lines of a sweet coffee drink than than what I would think of as a chocolate mousse. Because when I think chocolate mousse, I actually don't think super sweet. Like, chocolate mousse, in my recollection, is more like a.
It's got more body.
Yeah, body and kind of a thick, whipped cream type feel, but dark chocolate, not like super sweet.
This is one I keep wanting to smell it.
But
I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm picking up like graham cracker.
Yeah, I could see
just on
the sweet
nose.
The sweet graham cracker, because it's brewed with Belgian candy syrup, so you're gonna expect some sweetness.
Dang. Oh wow. What is Belgian candy syrup?
I don't know.
That says nothing.
It sounds sophisticated.
It does. Because whenever you want something to sound better than American, you put a different title, like a different name. Like
Right.
It could be Hershey's chocolate, but if you want to smell or sound fancy, you would say
Or smell fancy.
Yes, you like Croatian chocolate.
So
Something.
it's a caramelized beet sugar.
Okay. So caramelization is going to it's going to overcook the sugars, and create a richer flavor.
And they even spelled candy with an I.
Yeah, they did.
Belgian candy
I was like,
syrup.
I think that's a stripper's name. But
Yeah. Or it's
a sophisticated.
exactly candy with an I. But anytime you spelled your name, you would have to say
It's candy with an I.
candy with an I. Yeah.
And then you're just a nuisance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like if your parents named you Karen, but then they spelled your name Carin, which I really just regret saying that because we were just talking about a stripper, which I
not a specific one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's probably Adam Carolla's influence.
Yeah.
But it's like there's a Seahawks player, and his first name is Jackson, and it's Jaxon.
Yeah.
That is the blackest spelling that I've ever heard of Jackson.
There is there's a short reel, whatever they call them these days, on the old IG, and you have a relative, and I have a friend whose son is named Jackson. It is a very funny reel of a guy saying like, all Jacksons are just bad. It doesn't matter what their names are. If it might be Jax. I know he's going to prison, but it is really funny. Just the guy the way he presents, like it could be any name, and this guy would be hilarious.
Totally.
But yeah.
So they say that ChatGPT says, I say they, but ChatGPT says brewers use it because it boosts alcohol without adding heaviness.
Oh, I can see that.
It ferments cleanly. It adds flavor, complexity, darker syrups, especially bring deep caramelized and fruity notes.
Yep.
Improves color and mouthfeel.
There's no downside to that. Like all of that is good, and it comes across here. So it allows me to forgive the can art or Untitled art, because that is really good. Like dark chocolate peanut butter porter. I could have that a time or two during the week. Untitled pastry stout art mousse. I could keep that in the fridge and have it. I could buy a 4-pack and it would last me a year. Like that is really good, and it is like a dessert beer. Like you know what people say, if you had a time machine, who would you go talk to? Would you go meet Jesus or Moses or Abe Lincoln or whatever? I'd go back to Luther with a 6-pack of like any of the beers we've got on our wall here.
Yeah.
And sit down with,
I don't
him
know
and
about
his
any
wife.
of them, but
Yeah.
there's a couple in there.
I'd go back. Okay, this is what I'd do. I'd go back with the sesame chili cream stout. That blue one right there.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd go back with that one. I'd go back with this one. Let's see. Let's just have fun with this here. The Evil Twin. What's that one that like break something? Biscotti break that one.
Biscotti break.
I'd go back. Oh yeah, there we go. Where's that daiquiri one? There was a daiquiri one we did.
That we had last week.
Was it last week? Right up there.
The mango. Yeah.
Yep, that one. I'd go back with that one. And I'd have beers with Luther and his wife, with Martin Luther. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like like, hey, I'm from the future. I'm bringing some beers back. Like, I'd like to talk some theology, but also let's pull some mics out and some beers out, and let's just bring this right into Contraritics. And
in our world, this is considered beer.
Yeah, and just because, like, I imagine a lot of their beers were more like Consecration, or the did we do Floral Budget last time?
Yeah.
So Floral Budget and Consecration, I think, would be that in my mind. That's beers from 1600s. There's open fermentation. Just they're just trying to do something that's drinkable and won't kill them. And
because at that point, I mean, you think German, you think lagers, but they're not doing refrigerated fermentation.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they did. They must have done it in regions or at regions with the right environment for that type of fermentation.
That is one of the interesting things that would probably share. Like, I actually like this, the peanut butter, like porters and stouts. I like them. I like to pull them out of the fridge and or even if I have like the majority of those kinds of things in my fridge, I will just turn the temperature up on the fridge in general. So that way when I pull them out, they're going to get to close to room temperature a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So those might be things that actually they'd share that quality with something that Martin Luther would drink. But I think that'd be fun.
That would be in that theoretical mind exercise. They mostly brewed during late fall and early spring in the cold months, through early spring. So they, in German brewing laws, 1516, Reinheitsgebot.
Okay, I was just going to ask when that came about.
Forbade brewing lagers in the summer.
Oh, it was that specific.
Yeah.
I thought it was just
brewing in the summer. Between April 23rd and September 29th, no brewing.
So why is that?
This practice gave rise to Marzen, or March beers, brewed in March, stored all summer, and served in autumn at Oktoberfest.
Why would they not allow the brewing?
Because of the heat? They only made lagers, yeah. And so
it's cold?
You need cold fermentation.
So to me, this might go back to our conversation about government regulation. Like, that just seems to make more sense. And so, like, why does it have to be a law?
Well, but Germans in their laws.
Yeah.
So
what? How was that? What was the
Reinheitsgebot?
Because I thought that just limited to like yeast.
I mean, that is.
What is it? 3 ingredients?
Yeah. Well, malt, hops, water.
Malt, hops, water.
Yeast. So
okay. 4. Yeah. Like, so when I was first getting into drinking, like to enjoy, one of my favorite shows to watch was 3 Sheets. I think it was called.
Okay.
Zane Lamprey. Because he would just like travel all over and drink. And so he'd go and drink like dangerous stuff. Like legitimately dangerous. There needs to be a law against this in Africa. Like, mashing fruits in open top fermentation kind of a thing where you can get all kinds of things that will absolutely kill you. Like basically like that kind of stuff is like prison alcohol. And then he'd go
made in the toilet bowl type of stuff.
Yeah, totally. It's really, really bad stuff. You go all over and try these different things, but I learned about Reinheitsgebot or whatever however it's pronounced.
Yeah, I'm not the authority on that.
We are not the authority on pronouncing anything. The pronunciation.
So that law would have come into being right in the middle of Luther's life because he was 1483 to 1546.
Yeah.
But my guess is if they made it a law, it already would have been common, sensible practice among good brewers of beer.
That makes sense. Like that's why I was like, why is that a law? Because that seems like it just makes sense, which not all laws make sense.
Right. But it says that they often they stored their beers in cellars dug into hillsides or mountains, known as lager kellers or storage cellars. They were naturally cool around 40 to 50 degrees. In winter, they cut blocks of ice from frozen lakes and rivers and packed them around the barrels. I mean, a lot of work went into that.
Yeah.
Brewers often planted chestnut trees above the cellars because the broad leaves provided shade, but the shallow roots wouldn't damage the storage stone vaults.
I love that. Like, we need to understand nature.
We do not think about that.
We don't think
we're
about
like,
that.
oh, let's build a metal shed.
Yeah.
You know, and
Like-
then it's like, oh, then the metal reflects heat. And
Totally. Like that is, so I want something with a broad leaf and a shallow root base. So that way I can shade my root cellar. That is cool. Like I feel like, you know, like in where I live, I want a low tunnel greenhouse, not to grow anything, but to store my firewood. You know, like like those are the things that I think about where I'm at.
yeah,
Because, or like, you know, I've talked with, you know, Jonathan. I've mentioned him, like, hey, that'd be kind of nice to store some firewood on your property because they have decent winds and no shade.
yeah.
And that, like, he's 7 minutes away from my house. And
Is it that close?
it's that close. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Maybe 9. I don't know if the roundabout's busy.
Huh.
But it is a huge difference in where we're at.
Oh yeah. Coming up out of the depths of hell.
Yeah,
you know?
Mordor.
Yeah, Mordor. Something
like,
dark.
Like being able to store firewood 7 minutes away through the summertime would significantly dry out firewood for our house. And so,
Yeah.
you know, just thinking about, like, when you live the way that we do, it's harder, but you are a little bit more, you pay attention a little bit more than you would otherwise. So thinking about, I'm gonna, you know, have, well, that's also a hunting thing. What kind of tree was it? Hazel or what was the type of tree?
Let's see. It was chestnut.
So chestnuts are
Broadleaf,
that
shallow
animals
roots.
like to eat. You know, a lot of hoofed animals like to eat, and so, or even like bears. I think they like those too, and so that creates a certain flavor of animal.
Apparently, the original beer gardens, like in Munich and stuff, were like they say. Apparently, there are still beer gardens that you can see around Munich that still have chestnut trees.
Interesting.
And usually the beer garden was above the cellar, so like the chestnut trees was the beer garden over the cellar.
Could you imagine how fun that would be?
Oh, that would be
to like go digging someday and then just find a root cellar that's been buried for.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that'd be safe to drink, but it'd be sure fun to find. They've
Yeah.
got to be there.
So yeah, these are
Oh man.
these bottom fermenting yeasts, what we now call Saccharomyces pastoranius.
That's what I call them.
Right.
Yeah.
Work slowly
I
in the
was
cold.
drinking one the other day.
Work slowly in the cold, producing clean, crisp flavor. Which is why, actually, you know, it's like it's a much, like RJ was talking about from Five Rights here in town. He was talking about how he can turn out a, you know, I can't remember which beer he was. Maybe it was a cream ale or something that's really drinkable that people like. That is a lot quicker turnaround. He can free up a barrel, you know, free up a tank a lot quicker, and have something that a lot of people still like and is drinkable versus a lager that has to sit there for, I don't know if it's 5 weeks or however long.
Yeah, because when it's cold, it's gotta ferment a lot slower.
Much
Yeah.
slower process. Yeah,
Man.
but it does create a unique crisp flavor.
Yeah.
And I agree. I like the crispness of a Pilsner better than a lager, but I still appreciate a lager, and there's a unique flavor there.
What's your favorite kind of food? Like
Beef.
beef? So what's your favorite thing that Kim cooks, bakes, whatever?
Man, you put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm going somewhere with this because
Okay.
this has been a thing in my mind for like the last year. Not what Kim cooks, but
yeah. That would be weird. Maybe honestly, OG thing that we've gone back to. I mean, our what do you call it? Rehearsal dinner. I was like, what's the dinner before your wedding? We had this. It's like it's barbecued chicken mixed with roasted vegetables in a cream cheesy sauce.
Okay.
With noodles.
Sounds really good.
That's probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah. How often do you guys have that?
Twice a year, maybe.
Okay.
I mean,
like what if you could have something? Would that be
burgers? I would have burgers.
Burgers.
Yeah.
If that was like, hey, you can only have this is something you have to have like 4 times, a week. It'd be burgers.
Yep. Cheese, bun, and 2 patties. Cheese, bun, and mustard.
You're a double patty guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it's got to be the right, unless it's a super thick patty, it's got to be the right bun to meat ratio.
Yeah.
The bun there can't be more bun than meat.
I agree with that. Yep. Yeah. I like to compress the bun. Whether it's...
Have I ever told you my Chick-fil-A story?
No, tell me. Because you are weird in that you've got a wife that likes to bake. Like she's more bakery than cooking. Mm-hmm. And you're somebody that's just like, nah.
True. But we both agree on the burger scene.
Okay.
Like when we go out for a date, we're looking for a burger. Like,
yeah. It's such a good thing.
I don't know, the high end places with a $50 steak, it's like, okay, that was a good steak. And I don't know. Yep. I'd be just as happy with a really good burger.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're in North Carolina. Okay. We just moved there, and we go to Chick-fil-A. We get our burgers. We pull them out of the bag. We're eating in the place, dine in, and I think it was the manager was doing his rounds, talking to people, say, "Hey, you like what you got?" Mm-hmm. So I wasn't up there at the front counter complaining, but he came by and asked, "Hey, how's everything?" And I was like, "Well, if we're being honest." This one that my wife got, it's really flat. I mean, it looks like somebody sat on it. And he just looks at me, pretty deadpan, and he's like, "I can assure you, sir, that nobody sat on it." And I was like, wow, that's great news. Like,
that's not part of our process.
Like, I am so happy that you can assure me that no one sat on this.
That resolves my problems. Thank you so much.
But the reason I bring it up is because it looks like you might as well have sat on it. Like, there's other ways I could have phrased it.
Yeah.
But he's like, but, I'll go get you a fresh one. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, little guy.
Yeah.
That you feel like someone sat on it. But
I'm into the customer service thing, and so I will fix your perceived problem.
Right. That's the only time I've got flack from a Chick-fil-A person. Everything else is yes, sir. Like
my pleasure.
As you wish.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. No, I really enjoy making food of all different kinds. I like new processes, but I like to redo processes over and over. So like, I have a chili recipe.
Like do the same process, but add something to it.
Yeah. So chili, I don't have a recipe for, but I have a principle for chili making that has won awards when I've shared that principle with people that have put that chili into an award system.
Yeah, ignore that.
And is that on?
No.
Okay.
No, we just hit
that limit.
We just hit that limit.
I was gonna say we've gone long. Yeah, we have gone long.
Yeah. And so our outro music was playing, and Josh could not hold it together. Well, he's always mystified whether something's on the track or not.
I don't know. Yeah, it's in my ears. I don't know if it's in yours.
Right, exactly.
But I have so I like making food. I like smoking meats, as any mid-30s to mid-40s guy tends to do, except for you, which is good. Like, not everybody has to or should. But there's been several experiences I've had in the last year that have and I don't know how this works, but this is how my brain works. So you can laugh. Anybody can laugh. You should laugh at me a lot. But like food and musical experiences where I'm like, man, like it actually gave me a longing for eternity. like eat something so good that you're like, okay, this is somebody that has said, I'm going to make like some things that are near and dear to my heart. Apple pie, pot pie, like those are two food things that have like given me like a portal into eternity where I've tried them and it's just like, good Lord, somebody has spent a portion of their life like going, how can I make this good enough to where it just breaks somebody? Like it's so good that you're just like, I am in a moment, like a certain amount of like taste ecstasy that's just like, can you imagine this person having like 7 years ago, when we were at our condo, Karen would always make chocolate chip cookies. And I said, I want a chocolate chip cookie that is a little bit crisp on the outside and a little bit chewy on the inside. I don't want one that's dry. I don't want one that's not, I don't want like dough that's warmed over. Like I said, can you just make chocolate?
Can you just be perfect, Karen?
Yeah. Well, it was because like for me, I like the food process and making, and I like learning from my experiences. She's not that way. And that's totally fine. But I said, it was October. So this is, almost exactly 7 years ago. So can you just make cookies all month long? Just make, I can't remember how many batches I asked her to make, like just go for this. And that's what I love to do, is like just make something over and over again until it gets perfect, and then I go find something else. And so that, like thinking about, so Maggie Rothenberger makes some pot pies that are just insane, and she's not even 21 yet. And then also apple pies. Like not only are these things like if you were making a commercial about apple pie, you would go to her to make one that nobody in that commercial is tasting it, but visually that's what you want to see in an apple pie, or in a pot pie. And so you would go to her and say, like, can you make this just so that we can look on it and get hungry and sell a product?
Right.
And so she does that, but then also the product is actually really good. It's not like, where they take ice cream and, they're trying to sell an ice cream, so they make mashed potatoes and then they bleach it, and so it doesn't melt, and they can take a lot of pictures over the course of several hours and put cherries on top and then just throw it in the trash. Like this is like the kind of thing that if somebody threw that away, you'd punch them. You'd really break their face. You're like, what the hell did you just do?
Right, right.
And like there's things like that. Like musically, I've seen friends that just are all about the music. That like, man, I can't wait till they just decide that they are going to just spend the next 100 years on writing a particular song or making a particular food. Like when we die, and our only goal is to work to please and glorify God, the things that we will get to do, like it is not going to be sitting on clouds and strumming harps, unless you're like, how can I get better at making harps or making harp sounds? It is like whatever it is we are inclined to do, that God has put in our heart to do, we get to have all the time to do it. Like to have eternity to work on perfecting the things. That is exciting. I mean, you think about the pre-flood time frame when people are living 1,000 years or 700 years or beyond 150 or 200 years, and just being able to go, I want to spend 10 years or 50 years on making a particular type of beer. Like right now we think, because of time constraints and all that, we want to get better at making beer, or I want to be a better teacher. How exciting will it be where you can focus on the minutes of it because you've got years to focus on the minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting to me. Like to finally get to the point in eternity where we don't have, not only we don't have the sin constraints, but we don't have the time constraints either. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a continuation of the cultural mandate. So it's going to be working, it's going to be cultivating, it's going to be dominion taking, but in its purest form and not hindered by sin, not hindered by time. But it's going to be working. Like that's what I was talking about the other day with my class. Like this mandate came before the fall.
Yeah.
Like this is what we're supposed to. This is what we're made to do.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely going to be a part of eternity.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah. Well, as we kind of hinted at earlier, we obviously we went longer than usual, and that's okay every once in a while. Mm-hmm. While the season is crazy, it is also nice to just, I don't know. I see these podcasting times as sometimes decompression and sometimes just just being able to reflect on what we're actually doing and like talk about things that are maybe they're in the media and things like, okay, how to make sense of it, or what should we be thinking about it? Whether or not we come to the perfect right conclusion, it is a way to just work those things out and vocalize our inner thoughts about things.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we didn't frustrate you too much today.
There was a lot of beer talk.
Yeah, there's some beer talk. So
added a third more beer.
That's right.
30% more beer.
Yep. But maybe you were challenged. Maybe you were encouraged. That is the tension of defiance and obedience. And that's why we have that theme, because there is a tension in life about what you need to defy and what you need to obey, who you need to obey. Mm-hmm. Okay, obey God, but how? And what has the government been given to do by God? How should you obey in the right way? When do you defy that? When it's not in alignment with that, and following your convictions out to the end, and not just ceding to man's opinion or those even of your peers that you respect. You have to go with your own conscience and work that out. So hopefully we've encouraged you in that process. Keep fighting the good fight where you're at in your little section of the world, because it matters. Be the father that your children need. Mm-hmm. Be the husband that your wife needs. And keep repenting in the ways that you see that you're falling. Exactly. Yeah, the things that we talk about, we have such knowledge on because
all the experience in the
exactly
world screwing
of doing
it
it wrong. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So go and weld those defiance and obediences together, and do it for the glory of God, and do it with boldness.
Yeah. And learn how to weld.
And smoke meats.
Thanks for listening to the Contraritics. Tune in next time for another dose of guns, beer, and contrarianism.